It's right on his hand.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an excellent day today. Now, in yesterday's video, I did talk about why I actually did close out of my long position short term, not because I'm getting bearish, but because, as you guys can see right here, we did have this downward sloping resistance intersecting with this previous support, which is actually acting as resistance right now. You can see we did have the X right there. And since yesterday, Bitcoin is actually down around 7%. So I am going to talk about where we could look to potentially re-enter our long positions, right? Because I do still expect we could go to that $25,000, even $28,000 level, but we were anticipating a bit of a pullback / sideways consolidation. We are currently getting that right now. But what I want to talk about specifically today is some on-chain data. Now, I know we don't usually talk about it, but Bitcoin looks like it could be about to do something it has never done before. This is the first time we would have ever seen Bitcoin do this on chain, and I do want to talk about that. There also is another chart happening right now that has a lot of controversy right now with people on Twitter and Discord and Telegram. They're concerned about this right here. You could see this purple line, and we'll get into what this is in just a bit. Make sure you stay till the end of the video. Last time it got this high, we had a massive market meltdown, but the problem is this time we're having it at the bottom of the market. So what does that actually mean? We're going to talk about that. I want to go over 3 specific charts on chain as well. We're also going to talk about Tesla. They did sell 75% of their Bitcoin holdings. What does that mean? How significant is it really? So without further ado, guys, let's dive in. Let's obviously start with the charts. And of course, if you are not subscribed, definitely get subscribed, because we are going to go over this step by step. And you can see ultimately right here, we did have that resistance, right? Which is why I did take profits on that long. Now, where could we look to potentially re-enter? Well, I do believe that most likely Bitcoin is going to come down into this blue zone again. So essentially it's a range. It's not like an exact number, but somewhere between 22,000 and then all the way down to around 21,625. You can see that's this blue zone right here where we did have a lot of resistance, and we even retested it right here. Look, when we went up, we came back down, retested the bottom of that area, and we did move up. So the area that I would be looking for an invalidation is if it actually closed and confirmed below 21,625. But keep in mind, confirmation. It doesn't mean we can't wick below it. See right here, we had a couple wicks below. We still found support there on the 4-hour candles. So ultimately, I don't know exactly, right here, we're obviously hitting a little bit of previous, I guess, resistance, you can call it. We might see something like this come back down to this area, and then that's where I would be looking to re-enter. So just make sure that you get subscribed to this channel, and I will let you know when we do that. And, obviously turn on the bell notification. A lot of these updates can be time sensitive. Another thing too I wanted to point out is that does line up perfectly with this downward sloping trend, right? This parallel channel that we have. I've showed you guys this. I haven't changed this chart literally in over a month. We haven't even moved these lines. We've been using the same lines, and they're still working. You could see even the Terra Luna crash came down perfectly to the heart line, and right here, that's where we had this resistance, and once we broke through it, boom, that's how we knew. We went right to the next area of resistance, which was around 24,270. And currently, you can see that we are looking to come back down and retest this area right here, which does perfectly coincide with everything that we've been talking about. And same thing happening over on futures, right? Futures looking like it wants to retest right here. And then hopefully we do get that bounce. First level, in futures is between 24 to 26. But ultimately, I still think Bitcoin is heading up here to $28,800. And then we can reevaluate it from that point. It's not going to be a straight line, but if you guys do want to take advantage of, trading these patterns while we have the opportunity to, make sure that you guys check out the link below in the description, over $4,000 in bonuses. And if you guys want to use the link below, you can actually get that money for free. You can trade with essentially free money. You can't withdraw it, but you can use it if you guys want. So definitely check that out. Actually, there's $7,000 in bonuses, but you can get $4,000 specifically by using the link below. Check that out if you are interested. But in yesterday's video, I was talking about there was that correlation with the S&P, and the S&P was having a bit of resistance right here as well, even though the S&P had a little bit slightly different of a breakout than Bitcoin did have. But if the S&P was to come down and retest its previous resistance, then you could see the S&P fall anywhere between 2.2 to about around 4% before having that next leg up, right? Hopefully what you would want specifically on the S&P is to really not lose this trend that we formed, right? So hopefully, essentially it just keeps putting in these higher highs, right? And maybe what we're forming on here is a giant ascending triangle, potentially, right, for the S&P, because we do know that it is correlated with Bitcoin. So what are we looking for ultimately? Well, as I've been saying, basically what I want to get by the end of this month is have Bitcoin close above this 50 moving average on the monthly right here, which is sitting around 21,600. And you can see we did get rejected directly off the bottom of the EMA ribbon. So we're not exactly in bullish territory just yet, but we are looking like we're making that attempt at the reversal. And you are also paying attention to this 200 weekly moving average, one of the most significant moving averages in Bitcoin's history. And that's sitting at 22,700. So ultimately, it would be nice to close above that. We are technically still sitting above it. Or no, not actually right now we're not sitting above it. We're sitting slightly, we're like $200 below it. So that's something we need to pay attention to. But we do have a few, today's only the 21st, so we have until the end of the month to get above that 50 moving average, and the weekly moving average, essentially any week that we can close above that would just be good for Bitcoin. But talking about these bottom signals, right? So you see we do have these minor capitulation. We did start the capitulation. We haven't had the buy-in yet, the buy signal. Ultimately, if we come over here and we have a look at the hash ribbons, this is over on Glassnode, you could see that pretty much every time we have these minor capitulation, the hash ribbons, right? When you get into the deep red, you tend to see, here, let me just zoom in to just show you guys, right? We'll just take this right here. So you can see, we're not talking about a little flash of the deep red. We want a solid, like right here, for example, you had deep red from January 1st all the way over here until January 28th. And that showed us that this was a decent time to buy, right? You could see we had this, move. Bitcoin price went all the way down to 172. And then from that point, it went up to $295. And even at its lowest point, right here, it got back to about 211, but that was still a good accumulation period. Same thing right here. But what we're having right now, let me just go back to the full chart. If I zoom into today, you can see we're not actually having any. I don't know if you guys could see this. Am I in the way? We're not actually having that solid pink, right? We have the light pink. We don't have the dark pink or the dark red, right? So you really want a bigger band of that, which is why we haven't actually seen the buy signal yet. But you can monitor it on here. The longer the band, the more likely it is that the capitulation event is coming to an end. But something that we may have never seen for Bitcoin that could be happening is seeing the Bitcoin difficulty ribbon compression getting down to these crazy low levels. Now, you can see every time we get down to these levels right here in the green, okay, you could see these provide excellent opportunities for buying Bitcoin. Now, for example, this one right here actually happened mid-rally, but point being, even if you had bought, in the mid-cycle of the rally, there was still a lot more rally left, right? So it wasn't like, that it's not designed to call bottoms, but it is designed to show you good opportunities to buy. And then you can see right here when we had the compression of the ribbon get super, super high right here, there was only, a little bit of more time that we had that bull run before it started coming back down again, right? Well, currently, if you guys can see where we are right here, we're very, very low. We're sitting at around 0.017. Now, some of the lowest levels we got to was 0.014, okay, back here on January 6th. And if we actually look at where January 6th was, that was actually at a bit of a peak, not going to lie. So like I said, it's not perfect at calling bottoms, but even after we had that pullback, we went from around, 36 to 30, we still then went all the way up to 63, 64,000, right? So having a look at that, it is showing us that we are in good buying potential opportunity for Bitcoin. And another chart I wanted to show you guys, this is the total crypto market cap, but this is total number 3. So if you're over on TradingView, you type in total 3, okay? And basically this is all of the altcoins, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum, which is very interesting. And what you see right here is that the overall markets have actually come down and came back to this previous zone right here, right, which was our resistance. And look at this. It acted here as support. And look what it did again. It acted as support. So there is that potential that we're having that confluence right here, and the overall market space, the overall broad crypto space, not just Bitcoin and Ethereum, could be potentially having that bottom out, moment. Now, don't forget, there is always the possibility of having a double bottom. Those are very likely. But the interesting thing is that we had this news that came out that says Tesla sold around 75% of their Bitcoin in the second quarter as part of conversions that added 936 million to its balance sheet. So obviously, this may have had something to do with some of the selling pressure that we've seen. However, it is quite interesting to still see how well, and I mean, people may say, well, Bitcoin is not doing that well, but keep in mind, everybody likes to go to the extremes. How long did Bitcoin really stay up there at around 68,000? Not that long, a couple days, right? And then we fell even faster in the next coming weeks. So you have to really look at where Bitcoin has been spending the majority of its time, and it was, for the most part, around that $30,000 area. Yes, we did lose that, but considering that Tesla may have sold 75% of their Bitcoin, I would say that Bitcoin is actually holding up quite well. They say we're currently open to increasing our Bitcoin holdings in the future, so this should not be taken as some verdict on Bitcoin. This was directly from Elon Musk during their earnings call. He said, it's just that we were concerned about overall liquidity for the company given COVID shutdowns in China. So they had around 218 million worth of it on their balance sheet as of June 30th, down from 1.26 billion at the end of March. Now, when asked about how the company views Bitcoin long term, Elon Musk said crypto is a sideshow to a sideshow, noting that we're neither here nor there on cryptocurrency. It is something we think about. Oh, he says it is not something we think about a lot. We think a lot about scaling production and accelerating the advent of sustainable energy. But, long story short, Elon Musk, he does have influence, right? He's a very rich man, very well known globally. But at the end of the day, the sum of the world's money, when you think about it, when you think about the those sovereign wealth funds in the UAE and the princes and the other investment funds and institutions that haven't even gotten access, regulatory wise, right? And then also we don't even have a spot Bitcoin ETF yet. We really don't need Elon's money. Nevertheless, they are still keeping 75% in there. But like Zahir pointed out from Split Capital, he says, for what it's worth, and I did retweet this over on my Twitter if you guys are following me at the Crypto Zombie. He says, for what it's worth, BlockFi alone sold more than 900 million in Bitcoin since around 29K. 900 million is sizable, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just an average size lender liquidation. The spot absorption between 25K and 17K has been absolutely remarkable. So there have been, obviously, people buying up. Now, who have these people been? That's what I want to talk about. And this is the controversial chart that Will Clemente pointed out. So this is entities with 0.1 to 1 Bitcoin are accumulating like never seen before, which means that, and we're going to start with this theory, but then we're going to end on another possibility, that it is the retail that's accumulating right now. That's what you would assume based on these charts, right? However, something scary is the last time that we had this much accumulation from these small holders, it was in fact the 2017 top. Now, some people say that this is FOMO. They're saying, no, they got smarter this time, right? So now they're accumulating not out of FOMO, but out of understanding the value of Bitcoin. Could that be? Well, my buddy Crypto Savvy over here, he says that's called retail FOMO. It means we have much more downside coming. If we scroll down here, venture capitalist Luke, who I got to see him fight in Dubai, he was fighting in the ring, he said, I'm going to pretend I don't see the last time that it spiked that high. So this is where people are freaking out. You even have Richard Hart saying, what happened after last time, LOL, right? So even he was, pointing that out as well. But here's the thing. If we come down essentially to what Key Young said, he said wallets that hold less than 1 Bitcoin include one-time used mixer wallets alongside retail investors. I believe those were one-time used wallets to conceal transactions. It might have been for money laundering or OTC deals, not sure which one. Now, just to kind of talk about it, I mean, for example, if you use a ledger, right? Every single time that you receive a transaction on your ledger, it generates a new wallet, right? So this doesn't have to necessarily be retail. It could even be, huge whales that have actually started to take their money off of exchanges, got smart. Maybe they're using several different ledgers or something like that, right? And every time they're generating a new wallet, it's showing, oh, the little retail they're buying, but it's not a true reflection. I don't even know how many wallets I have at this point generated. It's got to be somewhere between 300 and 400. Not because I'm keeping track of it, because, Ledger obviously keeps track of the total amount, but just from, sending and receiving Bitcoin, no one's trying to money launder or do anything weird. It's just that's how ledgers work, right? So I think more people have started taking custody of their Bitcoin, and that may be why we're seeing this. They're a lot smarter with the way that they're handling it in cold storage, and every time you do a transaction, it generates a new wallet. So the data, as more people start to use things like ledgers or Trezors and start to put their money in cold storage, I think that's why you're getting this weird data. I don't think you're really having a retail FOMO. Willie Woo says, be aware entities data like this drifts as over-optimistic towards recent time frames. Takes about 2 years for this drift to stabilize. Small transactions are assumed to be a new person, then later is found to be a cluster of an existing person who has more than one Bitcoin. See what I'm trying to say? So I just want to kind of clarify that, FUD. People were like, oh my goodness, look how high this is. That means if this was the top of 2017 and we're higher than that, then what, we're going to crash to 3,000? No, I just think that the data is a little skewed now that, we know that people are using more ledgers. They're taking it off exchanges, right? We've seen exchanges at some of the lowest levels of Bitcoin. So just wanted to clarify that, guys. But look, nevertheless, here's some proof. Venture capitalists pumped $29 billion into crypto firms in 2022 despite the market crash. So there is still money coming into the crypto space. It's just, people aren't talking about it. So you can see right here in 2020, firms raised about $5.5 billion. Then it spiked over 40% in 2021 to $29 billion. To 31 billion. This year, it did fall by about 2 billion. So last year we did 31 billion. This year we did 29 billion. Okay. But back in 2020, it was only 5. So, we still went from 5.5 to 29. Even though we've pulled back 2 billion. So it's not like these people aren't interested. And you can obviously see that the chart, even though, it has stalled out a bit, it is still going up. There is still growth. There is still interest. And I just wanted to end too on something sort of non-Bitcoin related, but investment banking giant Goldman Sachs has announced the execution of the first agency securities lending transactions on the blockchain. The transaction that entailed a combined series of 35-day term transactions involved an unspecified amount of hundreds of millions of dollars. But nevertheless, the point of me bringing this up to you is just that distributed ledger technology is something that everyone is looking into right now, and Bitcoin fits right into that narrative. So yeah, just want to end on that. So obviously, guys, having a look right here, I would be looking for Bitcoin ultimately to come back down into the zone. So, 22,000 even could be the potential first bounce. But, it could go as low or even slightly lower than 21,624. The real confirmation level that I would start to worry is if we got around 20,900. Right here, we had this failed wick right here. You could see back here right on June 22nd. So yeah, but ultimately you could have fake outs to the downside, but this is the level for the next play. So if you guys get subscribed, I'll let you know. Make sure you turn on the bell notification. And of course, if you guys want to trade over on BitGet, you can also copy trade. So for example, if you have let's say $1,000, you can put 250 in this account, 250 in this account, whatever you want to do. And you can copy, essentially automatically, robotically trade these just like these other guys are doing. And also, I don't talk about it a lot on my channel, but if you ever use 3 commas and you don't want to copy trade what these people are doing, you can check out the link. I have a 10% off on that if you want 3 commas. Basically, it just automates all your trades in the background for you, so you don't have to be up all night, watching the charts. It's pretty cool. You just plug it right in with an API. I do have 10% off below in the description. But of course, guys, if you are looking to trade, obviously, if you're a beginner, I don't recommend using leverage. If you want to learn, make sure that you watch these videos popping up right here, right now. Until next time, stay crypto. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay awesome. And of course, peace out.